Just months ago, Bank of America presented a forecast for silver as high as $309, while JP Morgan expected silver to average approximately $81 this year, still a lot higher. But now, as silver rallies towards the critical $70 level, JP Morgan's forecast suddenly shows it dropping to approximately $63, and that directly contradicts what is happening beneath the surface. Silver's entering its 6th consecutive annual supply deficit, over a billion ounces in the red the past 5 years alone. But listen very closely to what I'm about to say, because this is where the numbers become dangerously misleading. Comex reports approximately 338 million ounces inside its vaults, making it appear that plenty of silver is available. But nearly 239 million of the 338 million ounces are merely classified as eligible. Eligible does not mean available. That silver is privately owned, and nobody is required to sell it or make it available for delivery. The headline says 338 million ounces. The immediately deliverable category says closer to 99 million. That means if enough paper holders suddenly demand physical metal, the stockpile protecting this entire system would collapse beneath its feet and the facade would finally be exposed. So why is JP Morgan downplaying silver precisely as it threatens $70? Maybe they know something that we don't, or maybe expectations must be crushed before investors become suspicious and start demanding the actual metal. And remember, JP Morgan already paid $920 million for manipulating the silver market. A few of their employees even got sent to prison for it. So today, we're investigating the question that nobody really wants answered. Where is all the available silver? And why is Wall Street suddenly turning against it right now? Alright, Silver Stackers, this is your daily debrief. My name is Silver Slayer. Now let's just jump into it. Silver sitting at $68.63. This is the 1 month chart, still beautifully going higher, building more support, meaning the days of 50-something dollar silver, possibly even 60-something dollar silver, are going to be over. But that's very interesting because the chart shows that, but JP Morgan is saying the exact opposite. This is a price forecast that we're going to go over for JP Morgan, and they throw in the 2027 and 2026 forecasts. We'll be looking at that. I also want to go over what silver's currently doing, and a lot of this has to do with Trump in Operation D-Day, or Operation Economic D-Day, and Operation Economic Outcast. So a lot of stuff going on. I'm also going to be going into this article from Kitco, because this kind of explains what I mentioned in the introduction of these inventories that are extremely misleading and the disconnect between them. And I do also want to show JP Morgan's crimes that they committed of spoofing and who got sent to prison and what they even mentioned. Spoofing is illegal, pure and simple, and some other things, laws that they broke. Yeah, that's where we're headed today. There's other stuff I could be talking about as well. Maybe I'll cover it if we have time, maybe not. There's just so much happening, and there's so many different articles that I have that I find are interesting enough to share with you. It's just hard to pick sometimes. But I guess that's a good thing, though. I'd rather have too much to talk about than not enough. So anyways, yeah, make sure you subscribe, because I post videos every single day, always keeping you in the loop. You will never miss a beat, and that is very, very important nowadays. So make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you get notified when I post as well. So let's look at JP Morgan's new updated silver forecast and see why they are throwing these numbers out. And remember, Bank of America also said $309 and then walked that back very, very quickly. So here's the key takeaways. JP Morgan's global research forecast for silver will reach $63 an ounce in the fourth quarter of 2026, averaging $70 for the year and 63 an ounce in 2027. That is absolutely insane. The past month alone, silver went from 57 to 68 to 69, basically 70. So the past just month, it's jumped almost $13. But JP Morgan's like, no, it's going to stick in this couple dollar range for, the next year. maybe even less than that, even given all the context of what silver's doing and how far it's came since the bottom of the correction from the $121 in January down to $57. But maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe they do. Who knows? This transition has also pushed the gold to silver ratio back to more traditional levels, which gold dominates. More traditional levels, it actually, that doesn't make sense. More traditional levels would be it going downwards, not upwards. Historically, it's been 16 to 1 for a very long time. Actually, it was even 8 to 1 for longer. The earliest gold to silver ratio I ever found was 2.5 to 1. It was 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. And then it was 8 to 1 for thousands of years. FDR got in office and basically changed the gold to silver ratio from around 16 to 1 to 75 to 1 overnight. Like FDR did that. So so along with taking cues from gold, silver's price path could be determined by the direction of interest rates, with a hike likely dampened by the appeal of the precious metals. Then why are they saying these prices? After entering the year posting record highs and riding out precipitous dips, silver's price per ounce has fallen, largely remaining at the $56 to $58 range in June. Right, that was the bottom, and now we're going back up. So after they saw that, then they revised its prediction down from yearly average of 84 to set $70 in May. What's the logic behind the change, and what could lie ahead in 2027? So it's almost like they made the prediction when silver was at its lowest low. That is the worst time to make a prediction. You see why people try to save face? Like the guy said, the Bank of America guy said $309 an ounce by the end of the year, and I made a video dogging him. The video got lots of views, so he probably saw it or word, and then he walked it back almost immediately and was like ridiculously lower. I'm talking like $309 down to like 70 or 80. And I mean, I'm not saying that he saw my video, but the timing was impeccable, because as soon as he said that, I made a video just dogging him. And then I swear, like a couple of days after my video got posted, he comes out, goes on whatever Kitco or whatever, and then is like, actually I'm thinking it's more like 80. But it just shows that these companies might be saying things to manipulate the masses. JP Morgan's got caught doing this before. Jamie Dimon, in the bits of the Bitcoin boom, Jamie Dimon has nothing to do with this, by the way, came out and said that Bitcoin's a scam. He went on Fox, he went everywhere and said Bitcoin is a scam, don't touch it, it's horrible, it's yada yada. And when he did that, it shot Bitcoin down thousands of dollars. But guess who got caught buying millions upon millions of dollars in Bitcoin right after that drop? JP Morgan. Jamie Dimon went on TV to say that, to purposely crash the price so he can get more of it for cheaper. That is basically what they did with this as well, spoofing. Now, spoofing's a little differently. It's placing false buy or sell orders on these exchanges and then canceling the order before it goes through, so everyone else on the exchange thinks that there's stuff happening that's not actually happening, because they don't know that those orders are going to be canceled. So they see a whole bunch of volume and volatility and all these orders coming in, so then they start reacting off of those numbers, even though those numbers aren't real. They're going to be canceled. Those orders are not real. So they kind of effectively manipulate the people on the exchange, which then affects the price. But yeah, so they got charged $920. 3 of their employees got sent to prison, and for manipulative and deceptive conduct and spoofing that spanned at least 8 years and involved hundreds of thousands of spoof orders in precious metals and U.S. Treasury futures contracts on the commodity exchange. Wow. And actually, and look, to order finds that JP Morgan's illegal trading significantly benefited, they had harmed other market participants. JP Morgan's required to pay $920 million, the largest amount ever. And where is it out? Spoofing is illegal. I'm going to show, maybe this was before they convicted the other people, but yeah, 3 of their employees got sent to prison for it. Other banks such as Merrill Lynch and the Dutch Bank also got caught for spoofing. And those are the only other 2, I think. It was Merrill Lynch for sure did. The Dutch Bank did for sure. It might have been also Saxo Bank. I'm not 100% sure, but it was definitely those three banks. JP Morgan's was the worst, though. So yeah, they say here's their price forecast. Fourth quarter 2020. Here. Here, their old May forecast, they were saying was here, right here, was 60 or 85 to 90. They were saying 90 at the end of 2026. Now they changed it to 63. See, here's the old one and here's the new one. So yeah, they were saying $90 by the end of the year. And the craziest thing is, they're probably going to be right with their old forecast. And then in 2027, their first forecast, or I mean, their first one was $88 in the beginning of 2027. Now it's 63. 87 the second quarter. Now it's 63. 85 the third. Now it's 64. 83 in the fourth quarter. Now it's 65. So they're just saying it's only going to move a couple dollars within a whole year, where silver has jumped $5 within one day. So they're definitely taking a modest approach because they know they're just going to revise these numbers when, when due time, just so they can kind of save face and not get embarrassed. I think that's really what's happening because it does not make sense. Now, I do want to see their logic, though. So the unwinding has to do with the volatile demand for silver in solar panel production, where it's used to paste. See, the thing is, all of their reasoning is actually more bullish for silver. So why are they saying this? And then they're using demand has weakened in India. Well, guess what? It hasn't weakened. It's because India imported a boatload amount of silver the past 2 years. So of course they're not going to keep up with those numbers. Like, do you know what that's like? Like, that is so misleading. China's numbers are down too, even though China just imported like 600 and something tons of silver. So when they don't keep doing that, when it drops back to normal, it looks like they're actually cutting back. But that's not saying that it's cutting back because it's going off of massive numbers, right? That's so misleading to word it like that. I know there's a perfect metaphor I could be using to explain that. Let's keep moving on. Now let's talk about why silver is targeted at $90. This article came out yesterday. So weak dollar and stronger gold support silver price rise. From a fundamental perspective, the primary driver behind the recent rise in silver prices lies in changes in the US dollar and US interest rate expectations. Over a longer horizon, which is what we should be paying attention to, silver fundamentals remain supported by tight supply. In recent years, silver has faced an ongoing imbalance between limited mine supply growth and elevated industrial demand, with solar, electrification, and electronic sectors serving as key sources of demand. However, high silver prices are also exerting a demand suppression effect. In particular, solar industry may manage costs by reducing silver consumption per unit or seeking alternative materials, which would limit long-term elasticity of silver demand. Now, I don't think that's actually possible, especially when articles like this come out the exact same day that they say that. Critical new identity elevates silver. So not only are they saying, they're saying the exact opposite, that silver being in high-tech manufacturing and as we go green electrification, this is actually helping the price go up, right? So you could just see, and actually let's look at this. The biggest misunderstanding about silver is that it's still widely treated as a smaller, more volatile version of gold. Sean Kun said that. Yeah, that's my dude. I've done shows with Sean for years now. I've done several episodes, interviews with Sean. I've done shows with Sean and Andy. I've done several shows with Sean himself. But that's so true. Most people look at silver through the same exact lens as gold. That is that's where people don't understand where we talk about why silver is better than gold, or why my book is called Silver is the New Gold, or why my name is Silver Slayer. They don't understand because they're not looking at the other half of silver. They're only looking at silver's potential through the same lens as gold, which is a huge, huge, huge mistake. But anyways, Yeah, then I mean this can kind of go into what I was mentioning in the intro, as these numbers are very misleading because eligible and registered are completely different. Completely different. And if you don't know that, then you could be fooled. You could be fooled by these types of headlines, or when you go look here, where's it at? I did have the LBMA's numbers. I must have got rid of it. But in one of those tabs, I had the LBMA and Comex's inventory numbers. Man, I should have kept that up. But it was showing, right? Oh, and I just found, yeah, the people that got sent to prison: Michael Nowak, Greg Smith, and Christian Truns. Yeah. But the people that went to prison for sure was Michael Nowak. I remember he went to prison because I remember his name and covering that. I'm not sure if the other two did, but Michael Nowak definitely did, I think, for about a year. And I'm sure he's just the one that got thrown in the fire. He's just, that kind of sucks. I'm sure a lot, it goes a lot deeper. But anyways, sorry for switching so fast. I just noticed that I saw his name down there. But yeah, like Comex's registered silver inventory stood at 79 million ounces as of May 12th, while eligible was 233 million. Total is 313 million ounces. But that's not real, right? Like that's see, it even explains it right here. Registered silver. Registered silver carries a warrant and is readily available, right? That's readily available. This is the portion of inventory that can immediately satisfy. Eligible is not. Eligible is not. Eligible silver meets Comex's specifications, including a minimum purity of 0.999 fineness and bar weights ranging from 1,000 to 1,100. And I think they're actually changing it. They're also going to like 100-ounce bars. But however, it is not currently warranted for delivery, right? It's not, you don't have to deliver it. So when they say this, when they combine these numbers, like, oh yeah, look how much silver we have, when it's really like, oh wait, we don't even have enough. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry, it felt like it's kind of rushed at the end. Look, ultimately, the shrinking 80 million ounce buffer leaves the exchange highly sensitive to delivery shocks, right? There's only about an 80 million ounce range where we can cover, and that's very, very, very dangerous. Any level below 15% is considered the stress zone. That's the physical versus the paper contracts. That's how they manipulate the price of silver, by flooding in paper contracts to cover for the physical metal, even though there isn't that much physical metal backing it. But the price is being affected as if there is that much physical metal backing it. But anyways, yeah. I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe. I post every single day. I'm always on the lookout, finding the most interesting stuff, any new laws, any new acts, any types of legislation, anything with price shenanigans, manipulation, spoofing, silver shortages, you name it, and I'll cover it because it all has a huge effect on the price of silver, especially the day-to-day pricing as well. So yeah, I'm your one-stop shop. Anyways, this was Silver Slayer. You've officially been debriefed. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.